Ladies and gentlemen, 68% of you say that Bitcoin will reach 100K by the end of 2025. 32% of you say it won't, but 100% of you are sick and tired of Bitcoin's price action right now, me included. Bitcoin has, unfortunately, yet again come down and rejected from a critical region at around 65,000, which is, as you can see, pretty much the POC, pretty much the point of control on the volume profile. A very major resistance zone. We just failed to get above that region. Fortunately for Bitcoin, we haven't done any damage yet. Nothing's been broken, but we are once again at a critical bouncing zone, and we need to bounce here in order to maintain the structural integrity of this move. Now, it's not an immediate short-term problem, but it is something we need to deal with on the weekly candle close. I've focused very heavily on the weekly chart in this YouTube channel within this range because it is a very big macro range. I don't think we can be making distinctions on shorter-term timeframes. For me personally, the bull market support band as well as the center line of a channel are critical regions. Right now, we're testing both of those regions and they need to hold. We'll discuss that in more depth today, as well as bringing up Ethereum, bringing up a very important chart on Bitcoin, the 2-week chart, which has the 200 moving average right now, which is actually part of the rejection, part of the problem right now. We'll discuss that as well and discuss a few more things on shorter term time frame. Shouldn't be too long. I have one concise point to make. But overall, it is a useful video and you need to keep an eye on these charts, that is for sure. So ladies and gentlemen, before we get into it, just one thing I'll get you to check out is the Bitfinex exchange. Now, this is the exchange I advertise on this YouTube channel. We've also got BingX down below, but Bitfinex I'll show you today, 15% trading fee discount available with my referral link. If you sign up with my referral link as well, you'll get access to a 5,500 USDT bonus, okay? Look at that on the screen right there. I'm highlighting a bonus of 5,500 USDT plus the 15% trading fee discount. You cannot go wrong. It literally takes 30 seconds to sign up. And why would you do that? Well, you do that first and foremost for the bonuses, making it a very competitive exchange fee-wise. But second of all, it's global non-KYC. And third of all, you've got access to hundreds of trading pairs. And fourth of all, I should say, it's never been hacked before. And if it does get hacked, it's got one-to-one reserves for safety and security for you to get reimbursed in your funds. So big stuff all around there with that exchange. Check out the links down below. Let's get into the content. So Bitcoin coming, rejecting from the POC, as we mentioned in the introduction, coming downwards. Also on shorter term timeframes, we had this descending wedge formation. It is a little bit rough. I understand that, specifically the top of it, but it is, in my view, resembling at least a very valid support line there and a somewhat valid resistance line. Unfortunately, breaking the support, coming back down to where we were last week. Bitcoin fought a war last week. It fought a war to hang on to that center line of a channel. Now that dotted white line there, it's a very important level. If you look at the longer term Bitcoin chart, you look at the broader channel formation we are in, and you go to, let's say, the daily chart, just to get a very clear view of what actually happened there last week. We delete the bull market support band. You can see that it's comprised of a top line, right, a bottom line, so resistance, support, and then also a third line, a center line. Since it's a parallel channel, there's a third line, a center line in the middle, acting as resistance and support over and over again for basically 5 months now. And right there, which was last week, you can see once again it acted as support. We bounced off of it. Very strong stuff. It marked a higher low for the upwards trend Bitcoin has managed to form. Great stuff all around. Now the problem is we've come back down. Now, we're not yet actually in very bad position. Like, people think, oh, look, the price has come back down. We've made no progress. That's not true. We're still in a good position because Bitcoin on the weekly candle managed to close that weekly candle above the bull market support band with a clean wick to the downside. It's great to see. The stochastic RSI on the weekly chart has not yet crossed bearish. It looks like it might if this weekly candle closes negative, but it has not yet done that yet. If we look at, for example, Bitcoin in general, again, the center line is not broken yet. If we look at Bitcoin in a shorter term time frame, we have not actually broken the lows yet. This is an equal low. This could be a double bottom formation. Like, nothing inherently bad has happened here. It's just more nail-biting price action. So I understand why people are stressed. I'm a little bit stressed as well. I wouldn't say stressed is probably the wrong word, but I'm definitely watching the charts closely because we're back in the price region that looked like it could have been cleared from last week. We're back there again. The whole kind of gist of this video is, the whole conclusion is, regardless of what you think about the price action, regardless of how you feel, regardless of how frustrated you are with the Bitcoin price range, what's happened here isn't necessarily bad. The important thing is that this level holds, right? This level needs to hold. It's the center line of a channel. If we lose the center line of a channel, what happens, guys? We go back down to the bottom range of a channel. We start testing support again. That's when we start to get really concerned, because if that channel breaks, right, we break the entire macro structure we've been forming for 7 months. And that would only really happen if a bear market was about to occur. So for me personally, all of my attention is focused on this center line, but more specifically, I'm focused on it from a longer term perspective. I understand wicks can happen. Look, we saw wicks below it all week last week. I'm looking at it from a weekly chart perspective. As long as Bitcoin manages to hold above the center line of a channel on a weekly close, and let's be real, ideally as well, the bull market support band, as long as Bitcoin closes above, let's say, 61.2K on a weekly candle, doesn't spend too much time below the recent low, as long as that's intact, nothing really changes here. Bitcoin's still in a good position. It's just more delay. And we shouldn't really be too concerned about delay, because we're still not exactly where we need to be, cyclically speaking. We know for a fact, historically, if we're talking about 4-year cycle, it takes Bitcoin about 1,100 days to go from a bull market top to breaching that all-time high in the next cycle. 1,100 days there, 1,100 days there, and this time, so far, I mean, if we're ignoring the all-time high break we saw back here, the early deviation, it took about 860 days, we were about 250 days ahead of schedule. Even right now, if it was to take 1,100 days, we'd still be looking at around early November. So we're about a month ahead of schedule here. If Bitcoin broke all-time highs tomorrow, we'd be about a month ahead of where we need to be. And for me personally, I look at the charts and I think, well, the bullish scenario right now is that Bitcoin went up way too fast, way too soon, and it's consolidating for a massive amount of time, much more than usual, to get back on track to where it's meant to be, right? To correct, right, to where it's meant to be. We went up way too fast, we correct for way too long, and then all of a sudden, we're back to where we need to be. Now, for Bitcoin to be back to where it needs to be, for the 4-year cycle to work out, we're looking at an all-time high break in early November, meaning we've got time. There's no rush here. So, although it must be frustrating, or it is frustrating, to see Bitcoin just stagnate, after such a great start to September, going into early October, seeing Bitcoin go down, successfully landing a good weekly candle close, coming upwards, and then rejecting so swiftly. Although that's frustrating, we have to remember and ground ourselves in reality here. Nothing actually bad has happened yet. We haven't broken anything. Center line's still intact. Everything's still intact in the weekly chart. We look good. Bull market support band's still intact in the weekly chart. As long as Bitcoin actually gets those weekly candle closes, that critical close above 61.2K, nothing's changed whatsoever. And even then, if there are some delays, if there is some problems here, it's not like we're pressed against the clock. Ethereum's the exact same scenario. Ethereum, going upwards a little bit, rejecting from resistance, coming back down, and just back on support, back on its daily chart support in the RSI, same story. Now, why did this rejection happen? Well, it happened for various reasons, and we can discuss those all day. They don't really matter. The fact of the matter is we weren't ready to go up. And I spoke about that from a cyclical perspective, but if we're talking about the exact reason, from a TA perspective, why it happened, one of the things we can look at, one of the culprits we can kind of analyze or interrogate, let's say, is the 2-week chart 200-day moving average, right? So this is a critical line right here. This has been a critical line for a long time on Bitcoin. We look at the 2-week chart, we bring up the 200 moving average, we see over and over again, just look at the line, how it interacts with the price, over and over again, testing, resistance, support, over and over again. Most recently, if we're looking at the last year or so, or 2 years, rejection right here, support right there, critical all the time, right? And right now, what we see, even within this range, is a couple of critical retests. One of them right here, bounce of support again right here. But most recently, in the last, let's say, 2 months, okay, we've seen a drop below it, right? Closing or opening right on top of it, rejecting on one candle, rejecting on another candle, and now coming back down after his rejections. That seems to be the critical level we need to flip on the 2-week chart. It's not really a line that people look at too often. I remember discussing it on this YouTube channel back here in 2022 during that rejection right there as a critical rejection zone. It ended up being one, but this line seems to be one of the culprits of the rejections here. Seeing as we closed 2 consecutive candles, 2-week candles, right on top of that line, I would like to see that break as well. But that's 10 days away. It's a long time away. It's not really too pressing for right now. I think I just want to see short-term bullishness. And actually, I just want to see, to be honest, weekly chart bullishness. Short term doesn't concern me too much as long as we don't go too low, as long as we don't break something like, let's say, 58.5K or anything like that. Or even 58K, as long as we go, stay above 58K on the short term, it's not too concerning because there's nothing really there. It's just dead space. What really matters is the critical levels on the weekly chart. And as long as we get a weekly candle close above 61.2, nothing changes there either. So, I know people are frustrated right now. I am too. It's getting very, very boring, but it's all part of the process here. If the bullish scenario does play out, there's really no reason to be concerned because we're still a month ahead of schedule. Right? So until something changes, until there's actual clear bearish data, nothing changes here. You just got to wait. Just got to be patient, right? That's my message. So guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Again, check out that Bit2Nix exchange, guys. 15% trading fee discount with my referral link on every single buy and sell you make, as well as that $5,500 bonus for signing up with my referral link. Hundreds of trading pairs, global non-KYC, reserves information, never been hacked before. Everything. It's all there. Check it out. And then I'll mention as well my VIP group on Telegram. We trade altcoins 4 times a week. I post my direct altcoin videos. I give you my entries, my stop loss targets, my take profit targets, everything you need to trade the coin. You chart it up, you trade it, and you get a 78.32% win rate. That's hypothetical, of course, but that's what the data suggests, right? That's what we've got in a public PDF document. You can check out all my trading results. I don't hide anything there, fully transparent, very proud of my results. So access to a group chat and trading signals, everything's there, check it out. And the last thing I'll mention is the Become a Trader 10-unit course. If you want to learn how to trade, this is where you can do it. It's on sale right now, teaching people how to trade, teaching people TA, teaching people fundamentals, teaching people market psychology. Everything you need is there on sale. Don't miss it, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you soon.